Hey guys, my name is Shai, and this is a pick a card reading all about your new beginning. What is beginning for you? What do you need to know, or just what is there to know for you about your new beginning? And you are more than welcome to jump straight into your cards, straight into your reading, 1, 2, and 3. But I do have some kind of just statements and kind of ramblings or housekeeping kind of stuff for specifically for people watching this in my linear time. So when I post this what is this? I'm recording this on Sunday, September 25th, right? If you're watching it around then. But of course, if you're watching this in the future, you are still more than welcome to listen to what I'm about to say here and just kind of fit it into whatever's going on for you in your current timeline, right? In your current time-space reality, because there's going to be a kind of similar vibe there, even though you're watching this in who knows when and who knows where, right? So I just wanted to say, I don't know, I just want to kind of speculate here and kind of ruminate for a minute on where I'm at, where we're at in this type of, in this moment, because I'm recording this on the new moon in Libra, and it was just the Libra equinox. And this has been absolutely insane, absolutely wild. Like the energy of endings and new beginnings is just happening nonstop. And I remember saying that a few weeks ago, that we were coming into this phase of like new beginning, new beginning, new beginning, new beginning, new beginning, and how it's just going to keep going. And I'm definitely feeling that. And I just keep feeling like every morning I'm waking up in a brand new reality. It's even more different than yesterday. And I can't help myself. I just keep forecasting through to the end of the year, seeing myself in this whole big, like spanning this spectrum of time. And I can perceive and feel and sense all of these new beginnings that are continuously going to cascade ahead of us. So it's really strange type of feeling of being in this new beginning, but knowing that even this one new beginning is like a temporary moment, and it's just going to keep evolving, almost like we're trying to stabilize the state of constantly beginning anew, stabilizing the state of constantly beginning anew. And it's interesting. So I've been doing readings every Sunday for all of 2022. I've made it all the way through into the end of September. But I'm actually going to change how I'm doing those now. I'm going to start doing pick a card readings every Sunday. And it's funny, I knew I was going to do that starting in 2023, but the time is now, right? Because it already feels like it's the new year. It somehow feels like we have fast forwarded all the way to the end of the year, and now we're in the new year. But then I still know that the remaining days between now and the end of the calendar year is going to keep rocketing us so far forward. It's like such a strange feeling. It's like flipping through a book and seeing all these pages and then picking up another book and flipping through another book. It's like we're speed reading through our own evolution, through our own consciousness. And it's like, I don't know where anyone's going to end up, right? It's like everything is just wide open and wild. And it's really funny. I gotta say, even my refrigerator did not make it into my brand new reality this morning. I woke up and it just wasn't cold. All my food had melted. I had to give away about $60 of frozen human grade chef cooked gourmet dog food because it was in my freezer. Luckily I didn't really have anything else in there, so somebody else's dogs are eating well today, which is nice. That made me happy. And all my other food was melted, and I'm like, okay, well, new beginning, right? I'm gonna get a new fridge and all new food, brand new beginning. So I love it when stuff like that happens, even though it was kind of annoying, right? But it was like the breakdown of the old is making way for the new, and it's gonna be awesome. But now I'm in this in between phase where for like 3 days I'm not gonna have a fridge. I'm gonna be drinking a lot of tea, I suppose, and eating out. I guess get some ice, put it in the cooler. And so there really could be in this moment of new beginning, it can be a little bit of a hanged man type of energy, feeling like what feeling the in between, right? It's like things are ending and things are beginning, but also feeling like in this weird in between state. So I think I've said this before, but I think it bears repeating, at least for somebody listening to this. Don't worry about the FOMO. Don't worry like you've missed your chance, right? If you're looking around and seeing other people having new beginnings, don't worry. You haven't missed your boat. You haven't missed your chance. It's impossible to have missed your chance at this point. There's going to be like infinitely more chances just coming and coming and coming and coming. And so besides this theme of new beginning is there's this theme of things have merged together. Things have merged together and harmonized. That is a very broad theme, I know, but you can just look around in your life and in the world and you can see that happening everywhere. But it's interesting because at the same time, like, well, what's the opposite pole of a merger, right? Of like a harmonious whole. The opposite is divergence, right? Divergence or variance. And so at the same time, even though some things in your life are harmonizing and merging and coming together, at the same time, other things are splitting apart and walking different paths, right? Like I basically broke up with my refrigerator, right? It's now walking a different path. stuff like that, where there's been this divergence. And that is actually reflected in why I suddenly feel like I need to do pick a card readings every Sunday, and they're all going to be timeless. So essentially, my very interesting experience of doing these kind of journaling experiences every Sunday, where I have been looking at like the week ahead. And kind of, it's like these videos have been really interesting for me every Sunday because it's like I've been keeping a video journal for myself, and it's been really interesting for me to go through that experience and like thinking about everything per week, right? But now it's like that's not gonna cut it anymore. We're in a different situation now. So it's gonna be 3 different readings all into one, and definitely reaching out through time and space, and they're all going to be timeless readings. So that's where I'm at for now. So yeah, we have this energy of these endings and these new beginnings, and also this theme of like mergings, but also diversions, right? Division. Things are merging, but things are dividing. An image I kept seeing yesterday really strongly was, white light going into the prism and then the rainbow coming out of the prism, but at the same time, so that's like, white light being divided, right? Being fractured, being fragmented into all the colors of the rainbow. But then also you have a rainbow, you can put another prism and, right, it merges it, melds it back into white light, back into one. So that theme is everywhere. Let me see. I guess that is the end of my general thoughts. Let's get into these 3 cards. Okay, there is actually one other thing for me to say. Maybe somebody is just wondering why I don't have 4 cards out, because a lot of the time I do actually prefer to do pick a card readings with 4 cards, and I hope to still do that some of the time, but for whatever reason, doing that 4th reading, like putting 4 cards out, is like almost exponentially more like energetically depleting for me. Like, so, and I haven't been doing very many pick a card readings lately because doing a pick a card reading is very much more of an energetic investment for me than doing just like one general reading. It's really fascinating. Even if the video is only 1 hour long, if I have 3 cards out and I'm doing 3 readings and putting them all into 1 hour, that's like 3 times as much energy expenditure on my part as just doing one reading. So it's so interesting that the amount of energy a video takes me to make actually doesn't really have anything to do with the time. It's more about how many different energies I'm connecting with. So every time I do a pick a card reading with the 4th card, it is very exhausting for me. So I suspect I will be, at least for the Sunday videos, at least most of the time, be doing 3 cards. I don't know, that like I couldn't proceed without saying that. Maybe somebody was just wondering about that. So that is why. And also, something good about the number 3, and that's apparently just what it is. So all right, let's get into the readings. Go ahead and pick your card, and I will see you in your smaller bandwidth of vibrational resonance, because that is what each of these cards represent, a smaller bandwidth of vibrational resonance. So I will see you there. Okay, card number 1. I have just one card here to find out to just get a general theme for you, and then more cards to come. So let's find out what this is. Okay, so the universe is not pulling any punches right off the bat. You have Yod with destiny. This is literally your new beginning here, is aligning you with your destiny. So, man, some of you may be interested to look up the Yod, or the Yod, as some people say. You can find these in your birth chart, right? And it's a specific type of angle. I'm not going to go into it because only some of you are going to be interested in this. But this is an astrological thing that you can find in your birth chart. Not everybody has them, obviously. They're actually kind of uncommon. But if you do like to get into astrology with your asteroids, you might be able to find some hidden ones, some hidden Yods. And the thing about the Yod is that you take everything that's at the bottom of this triangle and it pulls you towards the thing at the apex of the triangle. It's putting you on this journey of destiny, right? And this is a whole lifelong thing. And to have a Yod in your birth chart is very... very interesting, I'll just say. For those of you who have them, that's something for you to look into. But for the rest of us, this is still same type of energy coming through, right? You are being aligned with your destiny, aligned with your soul's path, aligned with your purpose, aligned with your new life, the way your life was always supposed to be. So if you've had like stuff change, if you've had changes in your life recently, don't worry about it. You are literally on the path to your destiny. It might not feel like it, right? It might not feel like it because this Yod energy, and when you do have like a moment of being aligned with your destiny, it can be like holy shit, what is happening, right? Holy shit, what is happening type of thing. Because everything changes all at once. Everything changes all at once. It's like literally you are embodying a new life, like embodying a new timeline. You could think about this in terms of timeline jumping or timeline switching, embodying like literally moving to a parallel reality, embodying a new version of yourself, right? So many different ways to run with this, but it's like your physical human life is going to change very rapidly, and very obviously in very big ways in your inner world and your outer world and everything to do with your life, because it's like everything up until now was you were warming up. Everything up until now you were just learning, you were just getting ready, you were just preparing, and now is the time to meet your destiny. Page of Pentacles. And beginning again, beginning brand new, beginning with this youthful energy and looking up at the light to have this new beginning. This Page of Pentacles is all about starting again, starting brand new. With this, it's like, I feel that for at least a few of you, maybe you've lost something tangible, like maybe you had something stolen from you. Maybe you went through a breakup. Maybe you like went through a divorce and you lost your home, so many of your things, right? Especially if you are like 40s, 50s, 60s, right? Because you have more like life built up behind you, right? Or just whatever it is, right? If for whatever reason you feel like you have more life behind you, you have more stuff, you've like literally crystallized more of your energy into the physical reality, and suddenly like it's going away or everything's changing really fast. It's okay for that stuff to be going. It is. I mean, of course, have your grieving process for whatever it is, right? That's normal. It's like you don't need to be happy about this right now, right? You don't need to be happy about this right now. You don't need to understand it right now, but just know that it really is okay that everything is shifting and changing. And this is truly to align you to where you want to go. Nine of Swords. Okay, yeah. So it's funny. I was like running kind of, I was consoling you guys in the back of my head. I was thinking, well, maybe these people don't need consoling, right? Maybe they're cool with this. And maybe some of you are, right? But then the Nine of Swords comes out and lets me know that, it doesn't, some of you are anxious about this, right? Some of you, this could be feeling really scary. Some of you with this Nine of Swords, this could be really, really scary. This card, it has a snake on it, right? And it just reminds me of something my husband just blurted out earlier today. He was just like, I found out that I am really not afraid of snakes. And it's true. We once found, we were once swimming in a lake and he was snorkeling and he looked down and he saw a snake under the water and he popped his head up and he's like, hey, there's a snake down there. And I'm thinking that could be a poisonous water snake, because I wasn't sure if the area we were in had poisonous water snakes, and I was out of that lake faster. Like I teleported. He tells the story and he always jokes about how I teleported out of the water because I was freaked out. What does he do? He dives under the water, grabs it by the tail, brings it back up and starts whipping it around. And I'm over on the shore like freaking out, right? Because I don't want to get bitten by a poisonous snake. I'm not really afraid of snakes per se. If I know the snake isn't poisonous, I'm interested in snakes, right? I like them, but I'm afraid of poisonous snakes because I don't like poisonous things, right? And then he was laughing because the snake was plastic. It was a toy snake, right? It was a toy snake. So why am I telling this story? I think that's actually part of the message here. Whatever you're afraid of is not poisonous, right? You're looking at this thing going this, maybe it's a person, maybe it's an event, maybe it's an energy you've been sensing around you, maybe it's something out there in the world, and you're going, that could be a poisonous snake, this could be something I'm really afraid of, but you know what? It's going to turn out to be a plastic snake. Like there's nothing to worry about. It's going to be fine, right? You don't need to be afraid of the snake. You don't need to be afraid of the snake. Even if it seems totally freaky, and even if it's triggering you, right? It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It can't actually harm you, right? It can't actually harm you. That's the thing to focus on. It can't actually harm you. It can only scare you. This is especially, sometimes with the Nine of Swords, this can come up representing kind of what I call the fear phase of awakening, or like, those really kind of spooky spiritual experiences, right? Where things are going bump in the night and you're getting weird nightly visitors, you're seeing things that are scary, you got energies that are around you that might feel scary, right? However that's playing out for you. Those energies can't actually hurt you, right? They can only scare you. So you can get through that phase, the fear phase of awakening. You get through it once you realize that there is actually nothing to be afraid of, that these things are just mirroring your own fears back at you. So resolving your fear actually resolves the things that you don't want to be experiencing. Once you're no longer afraid of them, they can't scare you, and then you no longer see them. You no longer see those reflections. And here you go. The Lovers. You're absolutely getting through this fear phase, right? This even with this Page of Pentacles here with the chipmunk, I mean, the chipmunks are kind of nervous, right? Because they're small, they feel like they could be easily victimized. The world is big and scary, right? Lots of things can eat them. They're just little tiny chipmunks, right? And they run around all scurrying, looking for a place to hide, looking for a safe place. And they hoard, right? They always feel like, got to make sure I have enough hazelnuts for winter, right? Always getting one more acorn, kind of trying. So this whole thing really makes me feel like something might have triggered your kind of security issues, root chakra issues. Because the yod, right? You're literally being shifted to your destiny. You're being shifted. So things can be, you could be feeling like on the shifting sands. You could feel like you don't have enough security. You could feel uncertain. You could feel anxious. You could feel like you don't know what the hell's going on. But coming into this epic universal level of balance, right? And this is always two levels with the Lovers card, right? To give a nod to how this can play out on the human level, right? If this is romantic in any way for you, here you go. This is going to be coming into this balance. This is like yin-yang balance, right? Yin-yang balance with these two. I think they're coyotes here. Maybe they're foxes. Hard to tell. But this is also tuning into the cosmic balance of the universe, right? That's why I say yin-yang. Tuning into the cosmic balance of the universe, knowing that everything is part of one whole, right? Is part of one whole. So for some of you, this can be playing out. It's like integrating your shadow, realizing that, how to put this for this particular moment. Let me just describe it this way. I have had many of those fear phases of awakening, right? The spooky things. I have encountered some seriously terrifying energies. I have had some very scary psychic experiences with energies that terrified me, right? There's a happy ending to this. Don't worry. Every single time I encounter one of those situations, one of those terrifying energies, every single time there is only ever one lesson for me, and it is for me to learn that the thing I was terrified of ended up being a plastic snake. The thing that I was terrified of couldn't actually hurt me. It was impotent. The thing that I was terrified of was actually another being that was just in so much fear and pain itself that it was acting out that way. And at the end of the day, the thing I was most terrified of is somehow, in some way, me. Somehow, some way, the thing I was most terrified of is somehow some aspect of myself, right? And if you take that, if you might be like, well, there's no way that that thing is me. This thing I'm terrified of, there's no way that thing is me. I mean, yes, like on a human level, it's not you, right? Your human self, your human ego. I'm not saying that it is literally your human ego, right? But on a spiritual level, somehow it is you. There's so many different ways to run with this. This is a really huge topic. But maybe in order to see how this other thing is you, take it all the way up to the law of one, right? Take it up to the source perspective where we know that we are all one. We are all one. We are all one. I know there's been so many times where I found out that's one of these beings that I was so afraid of. It ended up being like me in a parallel life. So like it literally was me. It was from some other lifetime. It was me in a different life. It was one of my parallel selves. Or sometimes it's not literally me, but it is like a soul family person, right? I realized that, oh, this being I was afraid of, this person was like a brother from another life. Things like that, right? And that learning all these lessons, it's like, oh, on a higher level, I sent this scary version of myself to myself now so I could learn a lesson. Or, that soul brother who consented to take this really dark path so that they could be in the perfect position to prevent something bad from happening. Sometimes we have to walk these dark paths and we have to become the shadow version of ourselves, but it is to great purpose, right? So those are just a few examples to toss out there. These are just the things that I have learned. Those are the things of my own experience. So that's what I say, that somehow, some way, right? Somehow, some way, the thing you are afraid of, somehow, some way is an aspect of yourself, or it is you because we are all one, right? You can run that many different ways to look at that, but that is always, always, always the lesson that comes through for me. So that is the lesson here. So the point is that basically it's like you're being translated to this new reality. You're definitely in that kind of transitionary period, and things can feel really scary. You can be feeling like this lack of security, but don't worry. You're meeting your destiny. You're meeting your destiny. You have a date with destiny, and things are just going to be a little wonky while you're there. It's like a really bumpy train ride in a blizzard. Maybe you're running out of food, but don't worry. You're going to get there. You are protected on your journey. You're going to get there, and everything's going to be fine. It's going to be a balance and harmony and companionship on the other side. And yeah, for some of you, like, I don't know, if someone going through a divorce, right, don't worry, a new cycle is beginning. And I am literally filming this on the new moon in Libra, and it was just the Libra equinox, 2222 on the camera. Oh my God, guys. The new romantic cycle begins, new moon in Libra, the card on the new moon in Libra with the Lovers card. I mean, the Lovers card actually represents Gemini energy, but Gemini is also air energy. Gemini energy levels up into Libra energy, right? Gemini energy levels up into Libra energy. This is all finding balance, finding harmony, finding equanimity, right? A new romantic cycle begins. So things are just in the wash, so to speak. It's like you're literally in the washing machine, but you're going to come out the other side having found your destiny. So that's what I see for card number 1 here. I will talk to you guys later, sending you so much love and light. Bye. All right, this is reading number 2. Let's find out what is up with you guys. Your vibe is very different from card number 1. I got hear that in my voice. I'm very curious here. Chiron with healing. Very funny, because I used this deck a little while ago and this card came out, and I was thinking about this card when I was drawn to this deck, which is the Black Moon astrology deck here. And wow, I actually had no idea that this was written by, I didn't know the author. Her name, Susan Shepard. It was funny because I said the word shepherd like 8 times this morning in different contexts, and I was noticing the word shepherd. I've had this deck for like almost 3 years and never noticed her name. This all means something. let me brew on this for a second. Let me actually share a dream. In order to provide the context for what I'm thinking here, I need to share this dream that I had a few years ago. There were many souls traveling through a long, dark tunnel. And And the souls were very varied. There are many different types of souls, right? Many, many, many different types of souls. We were all walking together in this tunnel. But myself and a handful of others, we found that we could walk faster. We could travel faster through the tunnel. And so we decided that we would travel faster and move through the tunnel first so that we could emerge first out into the light. And that was a really challenging decision because we had to leave everyone behind. We had to leave everyone behind, and we had to go ahead. And so we were abandoning them essentially, but we were doing this because we knew it was for everyone's best interest. We knew it would be for everyone's benefit. So eventually me and a few of my sisters, right, that was the energy in the dream, me and my sisters emerge out of the tunnel into a beautiful green, beautiful, like earthly paradise, like this beautiful garden. And we get out and we're like, okay, here we are, we've made it. And we just need to set about preparing the way. And we were like, okay, now we prepare the world. We make sure everything is ready. So because we know that everyone else is still traveling through the tunnel, but when they get here, everything's going to be ready for them. So even though they spent longer in the tunnel, when they emerge and they come out into the light, everything's going to be ready, and they'll just immediately begin to they will immediately be able to live in this beautiful new world. So we just got right to work, right? Building the new world. And we knew that more and more of our sisters would come behind us. And so then every once in a while, a new wave of sisters would come out of the tunnel, and they'd be like, okay, it took us for whatever reason, like maybe they had other things to do, right? They just came out of the tunnel later. That was like wave after wave after wave of our sisters coming out of the tunnel. And we knew that the last people to emerge from the tunnel would be the children, right? The children. That was the word in the dream. I don't necessarily know if it meant like specifically children. I think it was more like children in the spiritual sense, of younger souls, innocent souls. Yeah, basically, right? The spiritual sense of children, because the me and the beings that I considered my sisters, we had this like sense of purpose, sense of duty. We knew we had a job to do, right? It was our job to prepare the way, our job to prepare the world, to prepare the new land, so that when the beings who were the children, right, the spiritual children arrived, they didn't have anything else to do. They could just begin enjoying their lives, right? And that was a dream I had a couple of years ago, and several different things happened over the last few days where I was recalling this dream, and there was something else that I learned about. Something else I learned about this story, and it was that some of my sisters remained behind the entire time with the children, and they are the shepherds, right? They are the shepherds. The shepherds remained behind because me and my sisters, we could, for whatever reason, we just had the ability to travel faster through the tunnel so that we could get out into the light faster, right? But some of my sisters, even though they could have traveled faster, they could have gotten out really early, and they could have gotten out into the light, and they could have started preparing the way. They decided no, that they would travel slowly, and they would shepherd those who could not travel faster. And they stayed behind the entire time for the whole length of the journey, walking in darkness, walking very slowly, walking slower than is natural for them because they could move faster, right? But they decided no, someone needed to shepherd the children, right? Someone needed to shepherd the children. Someone needed to take care of them. And it was really this word that they are the shepherds, right? They are the shepherds because they walked among the flock, right? They shepherded the children through the darkness, through the tunnel, and they carried the light the whole time with them. And so the shepherds don't emerge until the flock emerges, right? That I remember feeling so strongly about that, feeling like, wow, like what a decision to make, right? It's like on one end of it, I had to make this challenging decision to leave everyone behind, but knowing that I could do more. I could do more good by hurrying up and getting out and then preparing the way, right? But other people made the decision to essentially walk in darkness for much, 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 much longer, right? So that they could be the shepherds. And so the shepherds, right? That's essentially how I feel about you guys. You have this shepherd energy. That's like, I'd never noticed that word until right now, shepherd. And this Chiron with healing, right? You are the healing shepherds. You're the shepherds that heal, right? You guide the lost souls, you walk among the lost souls, you are here to guide and heal and teach the children, right? And it doesn't have to be specifically like kids, right? Take my story here as it resonates and as it applies to your situation, right? Because, yeah, very strongly reminded of that. That's the vibe I get here. That is your vibe. That is your vibe. You are the shepherds. Wheel of Fortune. This is a snail. If you have somehow sometimes felt, why has it been so long? Why has it been so slow? Why do others get to do things sooner or faster than you do? Have you ever felt like you're walking at a snail's pace? Have you ever felt that other people are getting ahead of you or passing you by? And has that ever made you feel less? Maybe you have a wound about this, right? Maybe you have a wound about this. Chiron is, yes, it's Chiron healing, but Chiron is the wounded healer. You might want to look at your Chiron placement in your birth chart, right? That is the wounded healer. So first you have a wound, but when you heal the wound, then you can help others heal that wound. So I can't believe this snail, right? Because you've been walking at a snail's pace, but it wasn't because you couldn't go faster, right? You could have, but you chose not to. You chose to go at this snail's pace, and you chose to go at this snail's pace so that you could shepherd others, right? So that you could shepherd the innocent. And so I feel like many of you could really easily have this wound about time, this wound about speed, this wound about others surpassing you, and somehow feeling like you are less than, somehow feeling like you are slower or something like that, right? But just remember that story, right? You chose to go slowly. You could have gone faster. You chose to go slowly so that you could shepherd the innocent, so that you could help them, so that you could be the light in the darkness. And so this wound, right? I can really feel this wound. It's because sometimes it might be like, why me, right? Because when we experience these really deep soul wounds, and this is something that has happened like in your soul's experience, like deep in your soul's past, right? But you've been playing this out for so many lifetimes, and even including in this lifetime, right? But there's this thing that happens with our really, really deep soul wounds. So many, well, I mean, maybe all of them really, or I should say almost all of them. So I'm not speaking in absolutes. I try to avoid that. So almost all of our soul wounds begin with a choice, right? But just because we made this choice doesn't prevent us from being wounded by our own choice, right? So at some point in your soul's experience, you chose to go at the snail's pace. You chose to be of service to others by walking at their speed, by slowing yourself down, by handicapping yourself almost, so that you could go at this slower pace. And think about it in terms of your soul's experience. Since you had to like literally slow your consciousness down, right? You had to literally slow your consciousness down. How are you going to do that? You're going to be taking on burdens, right? You're going to be literally taking on burdens, and like in many of your different incarnations, like some of you, there's many different ways that your soul can choose to do this, right? But for some of you, you've taken on like a whole string of lifetimes where you have had like physical disabilities, like physical challenges, health challenges, like to do with your actual body, because that to get you to slow down. Some of you could have been, I mean, it could be anything, right? It could be mental health challenges to slow your consciousness down. It could be burdens, like family burdens, ancestral burdens, like burdens that play out on the social sphere, right? And any kind of burdens that slow you down. So it's like because you had to get yourself to slow down. Imagine that you are, I don't know, like an Olympic athlete, right? An Olympic runner. But you are suddenly finding yourself shepherding a bunch of kindergarten kids, right? You have to slow yourself down. But imagine that your consciousness just goes at the speed that is natural to it. So you can't just like deliberately slow yourself down, because like we're talking about consciousness, right? Your consciousness is going to go at the speed that it goes unless you do something to slow it down. So you're like essentially this Olympic runner in terms of your soul, in terms of your consciousness, compared to some like kindergarten kids, right? And so you had to literally do something to slow yourself down, taking on burdens, physically taking on lives where your body, where you were not able-bodied in some way, having different health challenges, stuff like that. And this is a wound, right? This is a wound and it hurts. Like I can feel that. And especially because you've also like, it doesn't matter that you chose this, right? It has gone on for so long and it has been more of a burden than you thought. And at some point you're like, why did I choose this, right? Why did I choose this? This is too hard. This is too much. It has gone on for way too long. I don't know how I'm going to see this through, right? I don't know how I'm going to see this through. It was too much of a burden I put on myself. Maybe sometimes you think if I could go back, maybe I would make a different choice. But know that, the fact that this is coming up in this reading means you're almost through that tunnel, right? The light at the end of the tunnel is here because of the Wheel of Fortune, right? The Wheel of Fortune. It's all about to change. This is when everything shifts, and this is about your new beginning. So, you're literally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel right now. Maybe it's just a glimmer. Maybe you don't quite believe it yet. Or maybe you're about to emerge. The timing is different for everybody, but just know that you're healing from this wound, right? Or maybe you're healing from it right now. Maybe the healing process is just beginning. Maybe it's still going to take you months. Maybe it's still going to take you years to heal from this wound. This like wound of slowness, this wound of being the shepherd, right? This is Pisces energy, by the way. If any of you are like Pisces sun, Pisces moon, something like that, like, right? Yeah, because I really feel that some of you could be looking around going like, oh, like even sometimes feeling envious of others, going, how come my journey can't be fast like theirs, right? How come my journey can't be fast like theirs? And that could be like a sore spot for you. And I mean, completely understandably so, but just know that it's not because like you are not any less than, right? You are not any less than. In fact, you are more, right? You are more, you are more, you are so much more. And it is the fact that you are so much more that enabled you to become the shepherd, right? So it's really, really deep, kind of intricate, like emotional experience that this is. I just trying to feel into this. Something else for me to say. Because I have been thinking lately, like I was receiving the message for a few days that one of my energetic functions is to accelerate the evolution of consciousness. That's part of what I do, right? One of the things I accelerate the evolution of consciousness. I accelerate change, and I do that just literally naturally by interacting with the world everywhere I go. Like everything I do, I just accidentally, inadvertently, like I can't help it. It's just my energetic structure just does that. It just accelerates evolution and it accelerates change. And I'm mentioning that because I feel like so that's not just me, right? Lots of people are here to accelerate change and accelerate evolution. And I feel like it's almost like my energy might be triggering to your energy because you might feel like maybe you are supposed to be accelerating faster, or you might look at people like me who accelerate change and accelerate evolution, and you might go, how come I can't go fast like that, right? It's, well, you actually can. You actually have every capacity to do that, but you've actually blocked yourself off from that because you've taken on a different journey. You've just taken a different journey, and it was like a harder journey, right? You were in the darkness for longer, and you made yourself go slower so that you could be the shepherd, right? You took a harder road, like literally you took a harder, slower road, and you've been doing it for longer. So I don't know, it's just something to just acknowledge there. Don't look at other people who seem to be going faster than you, and don't compare yourself, and don't assume that they're somehow better than you. It's no, you chose a different path, and you chose a harder path, right? Because, maybe someone else couldn't have done it. Maybe you were the only ones who could do it. Maybe you were the only ones who could walk this path for so long, right? Maybe you're the only ones who could stay in the darkness for so long. You were the only ones who could be the shepherds, because you are the shepherd. That is part of your vibration. That is part of your energetic function, to be the shepherd. But here's the thing. I also feel like this whole thing of you being the shepherd, that can change now. You can choose a new path. You can choose a new function for yourself. You can choose a new energetic calibration. You can choose a new purpose. You can choose a new destiny. You can change this. Now it's like your contract is up for review, is essentially what this feels like. Your contract is up for review. Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, it's like a work contract, right? Your contract is up for review. This beaver here. And the Emperor, So these are both very, very empowered energies. Your contract is up for review, and you can decide if you want to continue to be the shepherd, or do you want a new job? So just take the metaphor and apply this literally to imagine you have a job as a human, and imagine you like agreed to do this job for 5 years and you signed a contract. Now imagine that contract is up and it's coming up for review, and your boss is like, okay, do you want to renew the contract? Do you want to be a shepherd for another 5 years? Or you want to do something new? Do you want a new position in this company, or do you want to quit and go off into the world and start fresh and do something else entirely? That is entirely up to you, right? You can take on more of this energy of being the shepherd. You can continue that because now you are the foremost expert at being the shepherd, and you can do that again. You can even do it differently than you've done before, or you can decide that you want to be completely brand new. Completely brand new. You want something else. You want something new. You want a completely new template, a completely new contract. So I mean, just look at these two cards that came out. There's no way to compare these animals, right? We have this beautiful queen beaver here. She builds the dam, she builds her lodge, she creates an entire ecosystem for other animals, right? Creates a lake with all of her work. So amazing, so beautiful. Over here, we have this mountain lion, off, wandering the wilderness, knowing that he is completely sovereign in any respect. Nothing in the wilderness is greater than the mountain lion. I mean, there's grizzly bears, but grizzly bears don't hunt mountain lions. Not typically, right? This mountain lion is sovereign. He wanders solitary in the wilderness, doing whatever it is that he so desires. What do you want to be? Or, don't be limited to these two choices. That would be a false dichotomy. You can pick some other animal, pick some other path, right? These are just two examples that come out for you. What makes you sing, or what else do you want to be, right? What else do you want to be? It's up to you. This is your time to choose, your time to shine. So literally, guys, I would say for you that there is like literally a soul contract for you is done. Like you have finished a soul contract. You finished a soul contract. You can decide to re-up that contract and do it again. You can renegotiate the terms and do it differently. Or you can decide, give me a different soul contract. Or you can say, no more contracts. No more contracts. I just want to walk out into the unknown and explore and see what comes, right? This is, imagine you emerging from that tunnel. You and all of the children that you have been shepherding are all safe because the land was ready for you. The way was prepared. They go off. Someone else is looking after them now, and they don't even really need looking after. They're looking after themselves, right? They're looking after themselves. And so you're looking around, right? Your sisters are coming up around you saying like, I can't believe you made it. I can't believe you made it. I can't believe you made it. But here you are, you did it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for your sacrifice and what you have done, and for making it through, and for guiding the children through, right? What do you want to do now? Everything is open to you. And you might go, oh, well, like, do you need my help? How can I help? But your sisters can also tell you, you don't need to do anything. We don't need you to do anything. You can take a vacation. You can wander off and just explore and see what there is to see. You don't have to have a plan. You don't have to know what you're doing. We can give you a job if you want one. We can always use your help. We'd love to have you here. But this is your time to do whatever it is that you desire, right? Nobody needs anything from you right now. You are free. You are free. You are free. Do as you so choose. Your life is in your own hands. We love you so much, right? We love you so much. That is the message here for you guys. So good luck. Sending you so much love and light. Bye. Okay, card number 3. Okay, so I gotta say, throat chakra. As soon as I tuned into your energy, you probably heard, I'm sure that sounded weird just now, because I had to pause immediately, and there was like a massive frog in my throat, right? There was a massive frog in my throat. So I don't know what this card is, but something about this, for at least some of you, this is relating to your throat chakra and releasing a massive type of block. And it's interesting because throat chakra, like really big throat chakra clearings and activations for me are always, I really associate them with like a big spiritual breakthrough, like a new level of your awakening. So let's just find out what this is about. Aries, I am. Aries, I am. I am not surprised to see this card come up because before I started this video, I was, shuffling, sitting down, getting ready, shuffling this deck, and I had like a disaster. I had cards flying everywhere, like 4 times I had cards flying everywhere, and Aries energy kept popping up. I saw this card over and over and over again. So this is about you expressing who you are, like standing up and saying, I am here, I am this. I am here, I am this. Honestly, I could end your reading right there. I am here, I am this. That's what this is about for you, right? This is like no more fucking apologies, okay? Because now we're in Aries energy, right? This is like, you're not apologizing for anything. You're not bypassing anything. You're just like, I am here, I am this. You don't like it, get out. Like on every level. And really, really, really getting okay, like expressing that. And this is even getting okay expressing that in a way that might seem really forceful, right? Like you could be swearing a lot. Like I feel like I could just start swearing up a storm right now. Maybe you're kind of angry, but maybe you're just like really just like, I don't give a shit about what's going on with anybody else right now. It's like you only care about your own experience, right? Only caring about your own experience, your own journey. And this does not mean that you are like selfish or bad or anything. This is like you're reclaiming your own energy, you're reclaiming your own identity, and it's like this is time where you finally take care of yourself the way you've been taking care of everybody else. And it's like you're done with everything. And it's like you've recently had some experiences that are you're really changing your perspective. And it's like, wow, what if could you imagine what my life would be like if I was committed to myself the way I was committed to all this other stuff? Like maybe before you've been committed to your career, to your family, to your partner, to whatever it is, right? It's like, wow, it's like all of your energy was going to all of these other places. What if you put all of that energy into yourself and invested in yourself? And what if you just stood up in the world and it was like, I am here, I am this. This is me, hear me roar, right? That's the vibe I get from you guys. So I don't even know if I want to draw any tarot cards. It's like I'm just like this. That's it. That's done. I am gonna get some these moon cards here, right? Okay, I'm gonna get some moonology cards and some of these Gateway of Light activation cards. I don't want any tarot cards for this because this energy is so like Aries is so fast. It's direct. It doesn't want to waste its time. And even with this, I feel like that it's almost like this is like a really empowering path of non-attachment. It's like for some of you this could be playing out, maybe you used to follow a lot of different video, different content creators, right? Different content creators used to follow different content creators in different ways, and suddenly you're like, ugh, it's like I don't even care what someone else's opinion is. I don't care what their opinion is. I don't care what they think. It's because it's like it just doesn't matter. It's like it's not interesting to you anymore because what's most interesting to you is your own experience. Your own experience is what is most interesting to you right now, right? And it's like you're literally being reborn. You're rebirthing yourself. This is like, I don't know, have some of you been practicing like self-parenting or self-mothering? Because it's like you're literally rebirthing your own self. And some of you have really cut cords. It's like you've actually, I could almost go as far as to say like exorcised a demon. Like it feels like you used to have other people's energy like all stuck up in you, like mucking up your gears, like other people's energy stuck in your sacral chakra, in your root chakra, like other people's energy used to be like drowning you, and you're just done with that. And it was like all of that stuff you went through drowning in other people's energy or dealing with other people's bullshit, it was to get you to this point where finally enough is enough and you're done. And now it's like you got your groove back. It is your time to shine, and there's also this like really like interesting feeling of non-attachment. So some of you might be feeling kind of like, you know, detached in the bad way. Just don't worry about that, right? If you're feeling detached, it's okay to feel detached. It's okay to feel disconnected right now. Try to work that around in your field so that you end up feeling like you're actually experiencing non-attachment, right? The really healthy spiritual non-attachment, where things just don't matter the way they used to, right? You have a new sense of equanimity, you have a new sense of equilibrium, and things that used to freak you out don't only freak you out. It's like, yeah, okay, so what if that happened? Does it really matter? Does it really, really, really matter? You're probably like, nah, not really, because I got me and I'm fine, and that's all I need is myself. Right? Anunnaki light codes, energetic shift, new information, end of a cycle. Because of course, because this is a new beginning, and so to have a new beginning, you have to have the end of a cycle. I'm gonna read you from the book for this one. I'll give you a second to look at the art. Actually, doesn't this even looks like ram's horns, doesn't it? Very interesting. But before I read you that, let me get some of these moon cards just for some extra vibe. It's like this reading is going to be shorter than the other ones, but that's because Aries energy doesn't need me to like blah 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 for forever, and like doesn't need a bunch of cards with deep symbolism and stuff like that. As of course Aries is more than capable of understanding and appreciating deep symbolism, but it's like you don't got time for that. You don't necessarily really care that much right now, right? You just kind of want the message and get on with it. So let me do that for you. A new romantic cycle begins. New moon in Libra. I'm laughing because I'm filming this on the new moon in Libra, and one of the other cards piles also got this card. That's funny because this is the new moon in Libra. So yeah, a new romantic cycle begins. And this doesn't have to actually be romantic in terms of like romantic relationships for you, right? This can also just be a new cycle of balance where everything feels good, everything feels fair, everything feels even. And for you, you're coming into that place of balance. Like you are the balance point. You are your own balance point. You are your own balance point. It's like before, you used to put more of your energy into other people, and this could be, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be like, you know, romantic or even family or friendship. This could be, you know, different content creators, different people you used to follow and stuff like that. It's like your energy used to be going out from you, and that the way that you used to lose your energy, or the way that you used to put your sense of security, the way that you used to put your identity, your sense of self, your energy, like somehow you were putting part of you outside of yourself, right? And that was destabilizing you. Now you're reclaiming that, and it's like you are your own point of balance. You are the point of balance. It's like maybe in some way you used to rely on someone else or something else, some other energy. You used to rely on something outside of yourself to provide you with balance, whether that was like resources or like emotional support, or like even like opinions. Like maybe some of you used to like look to others to find out what it was a good opinion for you to have, or like looking to others for advice and stuff like that. But it's like you're kind of done with that. Now you are your own point of balance. This is everything comes back to you. This is like soul reclamation, and like you are going to be the master of your own life. You are the master now, right? You are the master of your own life now. Okay, let me find this. Okay. I mean, if some of you want to read this whole thing, you can pause and see if you can read that. I'll try to put it up, but I just want to skip to the part that has your message here. Great change is coming to you, but this can only occur if you are willing to shift your perception. You may be experiencing resistance to change, but please know this is simply fear of the new, not intuition. If you are wondering what it is that is the best course of action, the Anunnaki are encouraging you to go with the new. Old systems, old ways of being, and old ways of doing things must be released if you are to evolve. Change can bring a sense of vulnerability, but will allow you to make a deeper connection to your feelings, gifts, and what is important to you. You are standing at a gateway of pure potential that will be ignited as soon as you move through this necessary change. Be open to new information, new processes, new ideas. You are part of the new energy upon the earth. Awesome, guys. Flame on. Love it. I'll talk to you later. Bye.